when I received the letter from my GP, I rang to make an appointment to go and see the nurse, because I decided I was going to go, because as an ex-smoker, or someone who spent all their life trying to give up smoking, I thought it would be a good thing to do, although I didn't feel ill. I didn't have any symptoms of any sort, nothing, because I've always been for bowel checks and breast checks and my annual prodding with the doctor, you know. I've always been, always. So I just sort of took it as another thing that I was going to do, because it's good to go and get things checked out. The nurse asked if I had any cough, if I knew anything about the lung health check, in fact, so she explained it to me. The nurse asked what my general health was like, had I lost any weight, did I have any breathing problems. My CT scan was in a mobile unit in a nearby health centre. It was very quick, and I asked the nurse there, I said, you know, how long will it take to get the results? She said, they're not very long. If there's anything we need to talk to you about, we'll ring you quite quickly. So it was in and out in, what, 10 minutes? It was really, really fast, really fast. They rang up and they said, we've made an appointment for you to go to our local hospital for another scan on Saturday morning. And at that point I thought, there's a problem, there's some sort of problem, because it was a scan on my lungs, and it goes back to being an ex-smoker. And you know, I thought, you know, there's got to be something serious, because otherwise they wouldn't be calling me back in so quickly. There was the consultant and there was a nurse, and at that point I knew that I had cancer. I just knew. I just knew. And I don't know how I knew. I just, you know, it was their serious faces, and you know, and I sort of, they talked to me and told me what was going to happen next, but I still wasn't that shocked. I wasn't surprised, that's the thing. I really wasn't surprised, although I was surprised that I'd had no symptoms. They said, we have to do more tests. We think we might be able to operate, but we're not 100% sure yet. We have to do a PET scan, and we have to do some breathing tests and look at your general health and that sort of thing. And they gave me a card saying, you know, if you want to ask any questions, or your family want to ask any questions, please ring up and talk to the nurse. You know, we're here to help. We're here to help you get through this. And so that was really nice to know. I went in to see the respiratory clinic, and they told me that I was very fortunate in the fact that they were going to be able to operate as the first, if that's what I wanted. You know, there was quite a large tumour actually. It was 42 millimetres, which is about 1.5, 1 3/4 inches, which is quite big, they said. But they said that they didn't think it had spread anywhere, which, you know, was a bit of a sigh of relief from my part. And so we agreed that, you know, the operation was going to happen. When I had the operation, they told me that they needed to remove the top lobe of the right lung. And they showed me the diagram, in fact, in the Roy Castle booklet, which is very self-explanatory. And they said that eventually the two smaller lobes down the bottom would expand to help fill the gap. It was about 5 weeks from when I had my diagnosis to when I had my surgery. And in fact, the consultant rang me at about 9 o'clock on the Saturday morning and said, how do you feel about coming in tomorrow evening? I said, yes, please. The operation took about 4 hours. Well, at least that's what they told me. I had it done by it's VATS, I think. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to do it, but the surgeon that I had that was his speciality, using it as a video-assisted surgery. So, you know, and when I woke up, I found out that that's what they'd done. So that was really pleasing, because he'd said, you know, it's far less invasive, and I count myself really lucky that they were able to do that. So I recovered quite quickly, and everybody was really quite amazed at how quickly I recovered. which was really good. And I was really quite strict with myself. I used to walk round out the front, there's a sort of a square there. And I started off by walking out there 4 times a day because they said I needed exercise. And my husband got very cross with me for keep going out and walking round. And I said, I've got to go out and I've got to walk. It's good for me. And he was worried about me. He was worried I was going to overdo it. And I said, look, I promise you I won't overdo it. If I felt tired, I'd go and lie in bed and give myself a rest. And you've got to listen to your body. Life is very much the same as it was before. We've been on holiday. We went on a coach trip because I decided I didn't want to go camping. And I told my husband that I wanted a rest and I deserved a rest. I'm now thinking of going back to the gym because I want to improve my stamina and I want to improve my upper body strength because my posture isn't perhaps quite as good as it could be. And I just want to be stronger. And I'd go and visit my grandchildren and look after them and do pretty much what I did before. You know, I potter, I garden, I sew. Well, I've got to go back every 6 months for a scan for the next 5 years, but fingers crossed I won't need any further treatment. You know, if you've been invited for a lung check, I think it's really important that you go because it's helped me. It's meant that my cancer was caught really early. I could have an operation. I understand only 15 or 20% of people can receive an operation. It's given me the best chance of a much longer life. So, you know, even if you feel fit, just as I did, I think you actually really, you know, go because it's not going to cost you anything. If you'll get the best possible treatment, hopefully, you know, and it's really important. It's there to help you, and it's also there to help the NHS to be able to do the best it can for its patients. But it was important for me because I survived it, and it was caught so early that, you know, I didn't have to have chemotherapy and I'm living in my normal life again, which is just really important.